Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 9th of October and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, in this particular session, we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu as well as we are going to take up the articles with the background as way forward. And also I would like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this particular session from Telegram channel and the link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, let's start with the discussion of the newspaper. And but before that, let's take overview of entire paper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's newspaper. So here we have the Delhi edition, and here we will be taking up that overview. So on first page, we see that here we have article NC Congress Alliance sweeps Kargil election. Now nothing important for exam has been given here. Then Israeli airstrikes pound Gaza as a death toll climbs. We are going to take up this particular article fine in detail because in editorial also there is an article on this particular line. Then further moving on, after that, a video of tribal man's body being burned surfaces in Manipur, a very misfortunate event. Okay. Then further moving on, guys, Indian leaders wield a new digital megaphone. So article talks about that the leaders, political leaders, they are making new accounts and profiles on the WhatsApp because now that WhatsApp also profile option has come. Nothing much important is given. So my idea is that we will not go in these articles because not relevant for exam. Then in city section we have these tenders, advertisements, and all such kind of things. Then we have regional political issues articles, so directly we'll reach to editorial. Now in editorial, we have article a census for a new deal. We'll take this particular article for exam. Then NewsClick non-case. NewsClick non-case. So guys, in the last week, we have taken up this development that we have taken up this particular development that the founder of NewsClick, a news portal, they have been arrested and Unlawful Activities Prevention Act charges of terrorism under UAPA have been slapped on them. Now, many people, many bodies, activists, they have come out in support of NewsClick. They are saying that it is an attempt to stifle down free media, free speech in context of India, and even Sanyukt Kisan Morcha has also come out in their support. Now, article is saying that this is a strange case of terrorism without a terrorist act that has been imposed on them. Now, one particular thing, guys, you need to understand that this particular issue has become largely very politicized. And when we talk about exam point of view, only one dimension is there that government needs to be responsible. Government needs to be responsible while dealing with the media. They need to be very much careful while dealing with media. Okay, because understand this particular thing. On one hand, national security is the most important thing. It cannot be compromised. But at same time, free media, free speech is also important, and no undue weaponization of law should happen. Only this particular thing, fine, keep in mind. Otherwise, please don't follow every such detail in this direction for exam. If you have interest, then you can read it. Tufan Al-Aqsa jolts West Asia geostrategic architecture. We'll take this particular article and this recent Hamas Israel issue we'll going to see. Then by not raising interest rate, RBI betrays its concern about slowing growth. Okay. So basically, guys, what has happened? What has happened recently? Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee, they have decided to leave interest rate unchanged. Interest rate have not been changed. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about inflation, so Monetary Policy Committee ensures to keep inflation in a tolerance band. What is that tolerance band? So inflation should stay in range of 2 to 6%. 4% plus minus 2% means 2% to 6%. Okay, when it goes above 6%, we see that inflation is going out of control. And when it goes above 6%, what Reserve Bank of India does? It increases the interest rate. Okay, so that money supplies come down. Now, basically we have seen this particular thing that inflationary trends have been there, and when we talk about July August, inflation has been above 6% mark and even 7% mark. Okay, so something should have been done by RBI, but it has left its rates unchanged. But one more thing, guys, again I have told you that month by month inflation data and every MPC's committee what steps they have taken up not important. Why? Because every 2 months this development comes here, and again that particular thing, by the time your exam will come, these particular things would have become old. Okay, inflation and some new trends will come. However, this is a trend from last 1.5 2 year, in fact, that inflation has persistently been out of tolerance band, and government always face this dilemma that if they increase interest rate, though inflation will be controlled, but the growth will also get compromised. So this is a dilemma that Indian economy is facing. You should be mindful about that. So guys, I hope that you have understood this particular article, this particular thing. Then moving on to next article, moving on to next article, revisiting the rail gauge debate. Now, what is this article? So basically, guys, what is this rail gauge? Now, see, you might have seen railway tracks, obviously. So this is a railway track. This is a, let's say, a railway track. So between these two tracks, there is a particular distance. There is a particular distance, and this particular distance is called as the gauge distance. So basically, article is talking about a debate that has been there. That is a debate between standard gauge and broad gauge, standard gauge, meter gauge debate that is there. So basically, standard gauge, they are of 1.435 meter width. They are of 1.435 meter width. Then after that, meter gauge, they are of 1000 width. Okay, so just they are telling that okay, this debate between standard gauge, meter gauge, and all such kind of a things. Okay, now understand, we are not required to go in this particular article that how this particular distance and what is this entire debate all about. So for examination, I'll not recommend you to go too much in detail in this particular article for your exam point of view. Again, if you have interest, you can read it, but for exam, such things are not asked in UPSC examination. Such hairline details are not important. Then, however, if you're preparing for some technical exam, then you can, but not for UPSC CSE exam. Then this article talks about the Israel-Gaza war. Fine, that has been taken up now. Okay, moving on, guys. In this slide, I will take that. Moving on this direction, we come to text and context, and in text and context, we have this article: what caused the flood in Sikkim? What caused the flood in Sikkim? Now, recently we have seen that glacial lake outburst floods they occurred in Sikkim, and because of that, a lot of life property has been lost. So we'll take this particular development. Then further moving on, the next page, how the Digital India Act will shape the future of countries' cyber landscape. We'll take this particular article also for examination. Then moving on, Sikkim flash floods. Again, that article on Sikkim is being discussed. Nothing, some different thing is there. Then Indian Air Force unveils new ensign as it marks its 91st anniversary. Then, guys, moving on. After that, BJP leader voiced support for Israel. Congress left call for peace. Fine, nothing much important is given for examination. We'll move to the next. ISRO performs a trajectory correction for Aditya L1. So we have seen, guys, that recently ISRO launched Aditya L1, which is a observatory which is going to study sun. And I think at least 10-12 articles we have taken on Aditya L1. Now it will complete its journey within the 4 months of period. It will station itself in Lagrange point 1, which is around 1.5 kilometers away from Earth. So as Aditya L1 flight has taken up, from time to time, its path is course correction is to be done. And ISRO does that from time to time. Now, again, you are not required to see that every date on which ISRO is doing the course correction. Once that mission will be completed and let's say Aditya L1 relays some information that you need to take. Then after that, prey-based habitat dictate Asiatic wild dog tiger coexistence. We'll take this article. Supreme Court flags the need for dependable code of police investigation. We'll take this particular article also. Then moving on world page, Biden orders US ship warplane to move closer to Israel, sends munitions. So guys, we see this particular thing that earlier US was involved in Russia-Ukraine war, and now USA is trying to get embroiled in Israel, yeah, into the Israel-Palestine, Israel-Hamas war. Okay, so they have mobilized the weaponry, warplanes in this direction. However, rather than alliance building, there should be attempt to ensure that how truce, okay, how negotiation can be started up, because at the end of the day, eventual casualty of innocent people, women, children, okay, who are innocent. So as far as possible, find these problems need to be resolved. Now, two Israeli tourists, one Egyptian dead, nine, not much important. Okay. Then further, here we see that earthquake death toll. So recently there has been a deadly earthquake in Afghan, okay, which has led to a lot of fatalities. Then today, as it is Monday, we don't have business wise page. We have this money wise page, which contains advice related to investment, portfolio management, stock market, saving, such thing. not important for exam. Then we have sports page. And guys, let's see what article has come in science page today. Though science page is not there in a lot of print editions, fine, and I think including the Delhi print edition, science page doesn't comes, but we have it. Okay, sometimes some good articles come. So today we have article talking about unraveling the links between consanguinity and genetic disease. Consanguinity and genetic disease. So basically, what consanguinity is? Consanguinity is, so basically, guys, understand this thing. Consanguinity is a relation between two people by a common ancestor, common blood relative. For example, there is a brother and sister. Now, brother and sister, they are related. Why? Because they have blood relation. They are linked with each other because of a common ancestor. They are common parents. Now, when we talk about the consanguinity, we find this particular thing that in many societies, many cultures, there is a tendency of interbreeding where within the families, within the cousins, marriages happen. So, article is talking about that what researches have been published, historical examples are given. For example, this particular king, okay, uh, this particular king's parents, they were having a blood relation. All such things are being talked about, and different reports, different research papers, that whether it leads to disease, what is the impact of such marriages on the disease and prevalence, etc. Okay, and example from different eras, etc. are being given. I have read this entire article, guys, but for our exam point of view, don't there is not much substance here. So again, I'll not advise you to go in this article. Okay. However, many days there are some very good article on science, and we take that also, but as of now, nothing much. Okay, so that is all about the overview, and now let's start the discussion with relevant articles in one by one in detail. Okay. Okay, so this is synoptic notes that you can download, and you can use it for exam. So every class we take a GS quotation which you can use to complement your answers as well as essay. So today we will take the quotation from Edmund Burke, who says, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil, triumph of bad, immorality, is for good men to do nothing. If good men, ethical people, they will not do anything, then automatically evil will prevail. And even it has been said that evil is nothing but the absence of good. So if good will be more, automatically evil will decline. In the same way, in a society, if people who are justice seekers, if they will become silent, fine, corrupt people, they will become more powerful. Okay. So only thing necessary for the triumph of evil, for the victory of evil, is for good men to do nothing. So therefore, apathy cannot be tolerated. Citizens, they need to be active. They need to be very active against injustice and bad things that are happening. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4 ethics, as well as in GS paper number 2 and essay. You can use this idea. Now, moving on, and let's take first article for today. Okay. So first article that we have is what caused the floods in Sikkim. About Sikkim flood, we are going to take this particular article. Now this article we are going to take up with respect to GS paper number 1. We'll take it for GS paper number 1, geographical phenomena, etc. And in GS paper number 3 also, disaster and disaster management. We'll take this particular article. Now, first of all, before going on in this particular article, let's understand some basic background information, and after that we'll go in this article. So basically, guys, if you look carefully, here we have a map of Sikkim. Here we have a map of Sikkim, and certain locations are there. Okay, so basically here there is this one dam, that is the Chongthang Dam, and this Chongthang Dam is a very important part of the Tista hydroelectric project. Tista hydroelectric project. Okay, here we have Lonak Lake. Lonak Lake. Now Lonak Lake also is something which is going to come in this particular article. So here we have Lonak Lake. Okay, and guys, when we talk about the Sikkim, Sikkim has a lot of glaciers. So in Himalayan regions, there are so many glaciers, and within the Sikkim also there are few very important big glaciers. Okay, keep this particular thing in your mind. So here we have Lonak Lake. Fine. Here we have Lonak River. Now we see this particular thing, that Lonak River. Fine. It goes fine in the It goes here, and on this river there is this Chungtang Dam. Now, so basically, what has happened? What has happened recently in Sikkim? Recently in Sikkim, there is a glacial lake outburst event, glacial lake outburst disaster that has happened, and because of this particular thing, Chungtang Dam, the dam that I have shown you in the map, this particular dam has got damaged. Now, this particular dam is very important, very critical for the Tista hydropower project, as I have told you, and also large number of people they have died, a lot of property has been damaged because of this, and large number of other hydropower projects also that were in the course of the river, they also got damaged. Now let's understand that how this particular flooding happened suddenly. So basically what has happened, there was glacier lake outburst flood. Let's understand what is this glacier lake outburst flood. Now see this particular thing. So basically, guys, suppose this is a glacier. Now we know this particular thing that glacier, it constantly, it is melting, and as it is melting, a water is being released from this glacier. So what happens? There are natural lakes that are formed, and in these natural lakes, water will be deposited here. Now these natural lakes, they are embanked. They are embanked, or means a kind of a wall-like structures are created with the help of silt, sand, gravel, rocks, etc. And by that, this particular water is contained in this water body. We call it as glacial lake. We call it as glacial lake. Now, sometimes what can happen, because because a lot of water suddenly will come in this particular lake, these embankments they will fail. These embankments will fail, and within few seconds or few minutes, what will happen? A lot of water will drain from this particular lake, and as that, so much of millions and millions of liters of water will drain, what will happen? There will be an instant flooding that will come. Okay, so we call what we call glacial lake outburst flood, means glacial lakes which have been flooded because of a sudden outburst. Glacial lakes that have been flooded because of a sudden outburst. Okay, and these outbursts can be because of many reasons. What can be reason? Number one, nowadays we find that climate change is increasing, and because of that, temperatures are rising, and as temperature rising with a very fast speed, these glaciers have started to melt, and as a lot of water is coming, these lakes they fail. Okay, these embankments they fail, and we have seen that last year there was one incident that happened in Uttarakhand, also Chamoli, and so many incidents have happened in last few years in Sikkim, in Himachal Pradesh, in Uttarakhand. Okay, second event, what can be? Let's say there is an earthquake that came, and because of that seismic activity, what happened? These embankments got failed, and again a lot of water will come. Then what can happen? Let's say there is an excessive rainfall that came. So number one, glacier melt has expedited. Number two, earthquake. Number three, sudden rain. Number three, sudden rain. Okay, what will happen again? As sudden rain will come, this embankments will fail. Or what can happen? Some events such as cloudburst. Some events such as cloudburst. Okay, these particular things can ignite these glacial lake outburst floods. Okay, so this is something that has happened in Sikkim. Okay, so suddenly they break free their moraines, that is natural dams which are formed from rock, sediment, and debris that I just told you 1 minute back. These natural dams are called as moraines. Okay. Now, when we talk about in Sikkim, what has happening? So, South Lonak Glacier, it is located in North Sikkim, and it is one of the fastest melting glacier. In last 40 years, this particular glacier has melted by more than 2 kilometers. Okay. Now, when we talk about, guys, glaciers, there are around 7,500 glaciers in the Himalayan region, and within Sikkim also large number of glaciers are there. And in this particular case, now as I was telling you that glacial lakes are formed by a glacier. So which glacier was involved in this case of Sikkim? Fine. So it was South Lonak Glacier, which was giving water to the Lonak Lake. That got failed, and this flooding has happened. Now, why this particular lake outburst happened? What can be reasons? As of now, There is no 100% surety, but probable reasons that have been given by many agencies. They are like this. For example, National Disaster Management Authority agency, it says that what actually has happened, there might be heavy rainfall that might have happened in the northern Sikkim, and because of that heavy rainfall, that glacial lake got filled and sudden flooding has happened. But when we see meteorological data, we don't find that actually the rain would have happened. Actually, there is one problem also. What problem? This glacial lake is at high altitude, and at that particular place, no proper measurement of rainfall and all such kind of things have happened. So this is just a probability that a cloudburst or a heavy rain might have happened here. Okay, this is one. Second probability that is being given is that, now guys, you might have observed, if you are living in Delhi NCR, that there was a earthquake tremor that came in Delhi on 3rd of October. So what actually happened recently in Nepal, there were earthquakes, and this glacial lake was just 700 kilometers away from Nepal. So actually what happened, because of earthquake that came in Nepal, that earthquake tremors might have disturbed this glacial lake. It might, the embankment might have got collapsed. Because of this flooding came. So Nepal's earthquake is being said is responsible for this thing. Okay, so this is something that actually has happened. Now, one thing that we need to understand is this, that Himalaya is a fragile ecosystem, and over the years, basically these kind of incidents will become even more extreme. These incidents will become even more severe. Why? Understand this thing. Constantly, what is happening? Constantly, we see this particular thing, that the temperature is increasing. Okay. Yes. So constantly we find this particular thing, that the temperature is increasing, and as the temperature is increasing, these glacial melts will also increase. Now, according to IPCC, according to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it has been said that before 2030, 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature rise will happen, and this particular thing is going to be deadly for Himalayan fragile ecosystems. Is it clear or not? So this is something that is happening. So now it is high time that we need to execute projects with most carefulness, and surveillance, tracking of such events in higher reaches should also be done. Okay, so this is about it. Now moving on to next article. Okay, one more angle, guys, you need to understand that, see, for example, Tista hydropower project, okay, or any other such hydropower project that have been taken up in the Himalayan region. Now they are very important because we need hydropower in this particular region, but at the same time, we also need to understand that whether these regions are able to accommodate these big ticket projects or not, because last year we have seen that the town of Joshimath, it was sinking because of unplanned infrastructure project. So we need to reconsider infrastructure that is being taken up. That is about it. And now moving to next article. Okay, so here we have this article, how the Digital India Act will shape the future of country's cyber landscape. Okay, now let's take this particular article, and this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, cyber governance. GS paper number 2, cyber governance. Okay, now, so basically, now guys, from past few months, this particular thing has been there in news again and again. What is the news? Is that government is going to bring Digital India Act 2023. Digital India Act 2023. Now understand this particular thing, guys. This Digital India Act is going to replace IT Act of 2000. IT Act of 2000. Now understand this particular thing, that when we talk about IT Act of 2000, 2000 was a period when internet was just evolving. It has just started up. We didn't knew that how internet will evolve, what applications of internet will be there. Also, we don't knew what different challenges will come forward as internet technologies will become rampant. If I just give you data, internet user base of India, it has sky boomed in India. For example, it has exploded from 5.5 millions in early 2000 to 850 million. Just see, from 5.5 million to 850 million. So today everybody is on internet. So therefore, internet has become a high stake arena, high stake turf, which is to be regulated effectively. So we need a future ready and updated law to govern internet. And for that particular thing, Digital India Act 2023 is being brought, It will replace 23-year-old Information Technology Act. Now, understand what is the objective of this particular, what will be the objective of this particular Digital India Act. We are going to see that particular thing, but more details will come over a period of time. More details will come over a period of time. Yes. So what are the objectives of this? What are the objectives of this? Number one, it aims to secure online safety of citizens. Now, cyber attacks, cyber frauds, cyber hacking, stalking, phishing, these particular things have increased so much. Moreover, if you remember, recently government has also come out with our digital rights protection bill. Okay, personal data protection bill. So personal data protection bill, it recognizes the right to privacy, and right to privacy in online world also is to be protected. So to protect users online privacy, fine, this particular bill is going to bring the safeguards and checks and measures. Second, second, it is also going to focus, now see, artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine to machine communication. Okay, they have a lot of usage and can improve the user experience. But at the same time, how citizens information is being used by these artificial intelligence, how internet platforms are using your sensitive information. For example, you go on Amazon and you have stored your card details on Amazon, you have stored your date birth on Amazon, and a lot of things. So today, these internet platforms, they have a lot of your data, and on the basis of that particular data, AI and all such kind of things are being driven. They provide convenience, good, but at the same time, guidelines for their responsible utilization also needs to be there. We need to ensure that AI should be taken up on the basis of ethical and legal principles. So for ensuring accountability of these platforms, okay, to ensure that they apply on ethical and legal front, this particular Digital India Act is going to work. Okay. The next thing is that it wants to uphold the concept of open internet. Now, what is open internet? Now, see, internet should not be limited to few people. Internet should be accessible to everyone. Language divides should not inhibit your usability of internet. So how internet should be accessible to everyone. No barriers should be there to use internet. So that open internet concept, accessibility of internet will be promoted by Digital India Act. The next thing is there, they are going to review safe harbor. Now, this word is often used in newspapers, and very rarely it is explained that what is the safe harbor. They assume that you know what is safe harbor. But let's understand what the safe harbor means. Listen, listen, guys. Now, let's say we have Facebook. Let's say we have Facebook. Now, on Facebook, people are posting their views, they are posting pictures, they are posting videos, they are writing something on Facebook. Now, millions and millions of people are using Facebook and they are posting so many things. Many number of times, people post offensive content on these social media platforms. They are posting communal content, they are posting some hatredness related content, something. Now now enforcement agencies, can they hold Facebook charge that on your platform this hate content was being circulated? No. Why? Because Facebook enjoys safe harbor. Facebook enjoys a safe harbor. Now understand this particular thing, guys. See, there are millions of posts that are being posted on Facebook every minute. It is not possible for Facebook to ensure every single post that what is being written there. Okay. And if we are going to arrest the Facebook officials for every such hateful content, then Facebook will say that doing business is not possible. So the Facebook will say that we need some immunity. We don't know what people are posting. At the end of the day, they are independent. We don't know what they are doing. Fine, you need to give us independence, that you will not bother us every time. So safe harbor is given. What is safe harbor? Safe harbor is a kind of an immunity. Safe harbor is a kind of a protection that is given to these social media intermediaries, that they will not be held responsible for content that is being posted on their platform by some other users. By some other user. So this is safe harbor. India also gives safe harbor to these social media intermediaries. Now, guys, understand this thing. This safe harbor is now becoming a problem indirectly. How it is becoming a problem? So these companies, they are just shrugging all their responsibility. Okay, they say that they shrugging all the responsibilities, and in a way they have become irresponsible. Okay, So we need to review this safe harbor principle so that a balance can be brought that Facebook and these companies will have protection, but they need to be responsible also to ensure they should bring algorithms to track some hate content. They should be active. There should be moderation policies. So this safe harbor will be reviewed. Safe harbor will be reviewed. Okay, so all these particular things will be done. Now, guys, some concerns are also coming out of this particular development. What concerns are coming? Concern is that if you will review safe harbor principle, which up till now have shielded online platforms from the liability, this particular thing might make them cautious, and they might say that every time government is trying to bring some restrictions, and it will be said that it is a type of impingement on the freedom of expression. How impingement on freedom of expression? Let's understand this thing. Now, government will ask Facebook that you regulate content that is being posted. If you don't regulate, we will take back your safe harbor. So Facebook will regulate content. If they will regulate content, some content will be deleted. If content will be deleted, what will happen at the end of the day? Freedom of expression is getting negatively impacted. So this issue will come. Moreover, also these things will come that ease of doing business will get impacted. Okay. So this is something, some challenges that will come. However, it is needed to be balanced by government with the help of the DIA, that is Digital India Act. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to next article. So here we have a very important article in today's newspaper. Tufan Al-Aqsa jolts West Asian geostrategic architecture. Now understand this thing. I am not going to just only cover this article. I am also going to cover some basic background information and related information that is important in this particular crisis. Specifically in the red, I have given you what is the Yom Kippur War. Okay, not given in article. So please download the synoptic notes. Let's understand this particular entire issue. So basically, guys, here you can see that we have the map of Israel and the state of Palestine. State of Palestine. Now, let me just give you a very basic background first, if you don't know anything in this particular direction. Okay. Yes. So basically, guys, actually, when we talk about Jerusalem, Jerusalem happens to be holy city for Jews. It also happens to be holy city for Muslims also. Okay, as well as the worshippers. So basically, Jerusalem happens to be holy city for Judaism, for Christianity, for Islam. Okay, everyone. Now, when we talk about this particular region, this entire region was originally an Arab region, and there was the state of Palestine. There was the state of Palestine, which existed originally at this particular place before 1900. Okay. Now what happened? Jew people, Jew people, they started migrating to this particular region. Why? Because Jew people considered this particular region as their original home, Why? Because of the existence of the city of Jerusalem, and it was said that originally, fine, Judaism started from this particular region. So around 1900s, what happened? Jew people, they started to migrate back in this particular region. And actually, what happened? There was also the Balfour Declaration that came out in 1917. Balfour Declaration. Balfour Declaration that came in 1970. Now, what is this Balfour Declaration? Balfour Declaration was issued by the British government, and in this particular declaration, British government expressed that we want that a home of Jew people should be established here because this was their original home. Okay, so what actually happened around 1917, 1920? Sympathies for the Jew people, they started to develop that they should be given place here, but there was the Arab territory, Palestine. Okay. Now, flash forward to World War II. Now, you know this particular thing that during World War II, what happened? Holocaust happened. Nazis in Germany, they committed atrocities on Jews. Thousands and lakhs of people, even millions of Jews died in that. And around that particular time, a global sympathy for the Jews, it emerged. And it was said that the Jew people need a dedicated nation. They need their promised land. They need their homeland. Okay. And what happened post World War II? Post World War II, US, Europe, particularly the UK, they supported an idea that a Jewish territory should be established. Jewish territory should be established. And where that Jewish territory will be established? Here, where originally the Palestine was there. Okay. And guys, what actually happened? What actually happened with the support of the West? With the support of the West, what happened? Israel came in existence. Israel came in existence. Okay. Now, as Israel came in existence here, okay, as Israel came in existence here, fine. Palestinians, they had a problem. They said that you are establishing Israel, you are establishing Israel, our territories will be reduced then. Okay, our territories will be reduced then. Okay, so basically, guys, what happened since then, between Arabs as well as between Jews who are now living in Israel, this dispute is going on, and multiple wars have happened since that particular time. Today, if we talk about the Arabs, find the state of Palestine, it has just been restricted here to Gaza Strip as well as to this West Bank. Okay, this is the status right now. And here we see this is the Israel. Gray one is Israel. Okay. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. There are certain militant groups from time to time which carry attacks against Israel. Why? Because of their grudges that Israel has been actually established onto the Palestinian territory. And amongst those particular militant groups, there is Hamas that is there, about which we are going to discuss today. Okay. So, guys, when we talk about Hamas, what has happened recently? Hamas, they have carried this operation Tufan al Aqsa, and under this Tufan al Aqsa, 2 days back, they have carried attacks, rocket attacks have been launched against the Israel. So basically, from where these attacks have been carried? These attacks have been carried from the Gaza Strip region. These attacks have been carried from this Gaza Strip region, and in this particular region, large number of Israel people, they have died. Okay, and now is people, now the Israel, they are retaliating. Israel, they are retaliating now. Okay, now this particular attack that has happened, it is being compared with the Yom Kippur war, which happened exactly 50 years back. Yom Kippur war. Okay, it is being compared with that. Now, just if we go to the newspaper, okay, fine. So here you see exactly here, fine, the clashes have happened. Here the clashes have happened. Fine, rocket strikes and all such things have been carried. Now, so article is now giving the implications of this particular article is talking about the implications of this particular attack that has happened. But first, before going on in this particular article, I would like to discuss with you guys that why it is being compared with this Yom Kippur war, and what was this Yom Kippur war, if you don't have any idea or if you have forgotten that thing. So basically, as I told you, that rivalry between Arabs and Israel, it is long, going on since 1948 when the Israel was established. This rivalry is going since then. Now, guys, what has happened from this particular time onward, 1948 onwards, Arab countries, they have ganged against Israel. They have gang against Israel, and multiple attacks, multiple wars have happened. Now, this Yom Kippur war, it is also called by many other names. For example, it is called as October War, also called as the Ramadan War, because it happened in the holy month of Ramadan. Okay, now in this particular war, what happened? On one hand, there was Israel, and on another hand, Egypt and Syria, they carried a surprise attack against Israel in 1973. In 1973. Now, why they carried this surprise attack? There is one reason, and reason of this Yom Kippur War is the Six-Day War of 1967. Six-Day War of 1967. Let's understand that. By the way, this was the fourth Arab Israel war. This was the fourth Arab Israel war. What was the earlier three Arab Israel war when they happened? So there was in 1949 one happened, 1956 one happened, and 1967 one happened. Now this 1967 is also called as the Six-Day War. Now during this particular war, what actually happened? Israel, it defeated Arabs with a lot of might, and not only it defeated, what happened? It captured the Golan Heights from Syria, it captured Sinai Peninsula of Egypt, and within the Sixth War, it just uh, it just mightily defeated the Arabs. And a kind of an invincibility, a kind of a kind of a aura that Israel is undefeatable. Nobody can defeat. That kind of an invincibility, that kind of an image of Israel was developed after 1967. And Egypt, Syria, what they wanted to do, they wanted to break this particular aura of Israel. And just to break that particular aura, a surprise attack was carried. Now, at that point of a time, Israel was unprepared. Israel was unprepared, intelligence failure happened, and what happened? There was just Israel got battered. And this particular thing came to the world that though Israel cannot be defeated by them, but Israel can be battered, it can be given a jolt by them. This actually happened. Okay, this actually happened. Fine. Now, here, the attack that have been carried by Hamas from Gaza to Israel, these attacks are being compared with the Yom Kippur War. Why? Because here also, Israel was caught by surprise attack. Israel was caught by surprise. Intelligence failure happened, and immediately, Israel was not able to give some response. So, therefore, lot of similarities are there, and it is being compared to the Yom Kippur War. At that point of a time, guys, also what happened? Now, see, if you remember in newspaper overview, I showed you that US is now mobilizing war planes, munitions near the Israel. Now, same thing happened at that point of time also. What happened? USA, Soviet Union, they also came in between, and US was ready to back Israel, and Soviet Union was ready to back Egypt and Syria. So this kind of a thing happened at that point of time also. Now, what are the takeaways from this particular attack that has happened? So takeaways are something like this. Number one, as we talk about from military perspective, it there is not a 1% doubt that Israel will take over this. There is no match between Hamas or and Israel. There is no match between Hamas and Israel. Definitely, Israel is many times more powerful, many times more powerful. They have far more resources to sustain the war if it starts between them. And a massive incursion within the Gaza territory is now going to be taken up by Israel. Okay, this is something that happened. So, strategically, there is a very big asymmetrical gap that is there between the Palestine and Israel. So, Israel is going to take revenge, and revenge will be taken with even more force. That is one something that is happening. Second is that again intelligence failure happened. It happened here, it happened in Yom Kippur War. So Israel might going to rethink their strategic doctrine. They might revise their strategic doctrine, use of artificial intelligence, okay, and all such kind of a things in intelligence is going to increase more. Then third thing, we find this particular thing, geographically this particular war will not spread that much. Why geographically this war will not spread that much? It is because of the reason, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about Hamas or when we talk about Arab cause, the cause of Palestine, this particular cause, now the cause of Hamas, cause of Palestine is not that much significant for Arab world. Arab world countries now they are actually starting to establish relation even with the Israel. For example, if you remember, I have discussed with you Abraham Accord. In Abraham Accord, what happened? UAE and Bahrain already they have started diplomatic relation with Israel. Okay, Egypt already is going towards the west. Okay, and Egypt-Israel relations are also now on some different front. So Hamas is not going to get so much of support here, and therefore this war will be geographically limited in this particular region. So Egypt is now aligned more towards the west. Okay, if we talk about Qatar, Qatar is one which has been sympathetic to Hamas, and in past some generic assistance has been given to them. But Qatar knows this particular thing, that if they are going to support Hamas now, they will become enemy of US and Israel. So Qatar will also not come in between. Now Turkey is a big time supporter, but Turkey's own economy is in crisis. So Turkey is also not going to come in between. Turkey is also not going to come in between. So therefore, this particular war might get limited here. Okay, but now how India will get impacted here? So India is not directly affected because the war is not unfolding into the backyard of India, but India will get some indirect damages because of this particular thing. Because guys, if you remember, recently at G20, India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor was announced. Okay, also there is I2U2. I2U2 stands for India, Israel, US, UAE. US, UAE. Now, so basically, guys, when we talk about UAE, UAE and Israel, UAE and Israel, UAE is an Arab country. Israel is a Jewish country. And we see that again the rivalry between the Arabs and the Israel has got started. So actually what is going to happen? Equations will get little bit disturbed. And India, who might have got economic advantage of these projects, they will get impacted. Understand this thing. If regional instability will come, if regional instability will come, if regional peace will get impacted, obviously these projects pace will not be there. Okay, right now what will happen? Israel's focus will shift to the neighborhood, or their focus will shift on the Gaza. Now for them these things will become less important priority, and therefore India will be get indirectly impacted. Okay, so that is all guys about it. Okay, sir, who is to blame here? There is a loss of 1,000 lives. Okay, understand this thing. Who is to blame here? We will adopt what India says on the international dais, that war is bad, war is grave. Is it clear or not? War is grave. Okay. A census for a new deal. A census for a new deal. Okay. And one more thing I want to add here. Okay. Though war has happened, but understand this thing, that when we talk about international politics, when we talk about international regime, politics there are governed under the principle of the paradigm of politics is real politic, realism, maintenance of hegemony. Okay, so you need to show your dominance first before the other one shows that dominance. So these are some rules of real politics that are actually followed, and obviously under that thing, many number of a time innocent people die, which is misfortunate and which is really unacceptable. A census for a new deal. Now, guys, this particular article is just giving a kind of a take on recent caste census that has been conducted by Bihar government. We'll see this particular article briefly for GS paper number 2. Much substance is not there, to be very frank. So basically, article is saying this thing, GS paper number 2, article says this particular thing, that caste and religion, they have been two axes, they have been two big identities in Indian politics. And this has happened over past 1 century. Okay, if you remember, caste was a very important construct post independence. Religion has now become an important construct in politics. Clear? And from time to time, we see this particular thing, that these identities are brought in politics for gaining more and more vote. Now, recently, what is the latest development? Latest development is Bihar caste survey. Bihar caste survey. Bihar caste survey. In this Bihar caste survey, if I just give you idea, last week we have discussed it, I think 2 3 times. 63% people, according to this Bihar caste survey, 63% people, they belong to OBC and EBC category, other backward classes and extremely backward classes. Okay. But if you remember, how much is the reservation that is given to OBC people? Reservation is just 27%, but their population is 63%. So basically, it is being said that political parties now they are going to revive the politics of backwardness. Politics of backwardness. What is politics of backwardness? So politics of backwardness is a strategy of political parties where they consolidate backward class vote bank. Issues that seem important, issues that are important to backward class, they are floated, and on the basis the voters support is asked. For example for example now they are going to float that OBC people, they are 63%, but they have given just 27% reservation, and on this particular ground they will mobilize backward people. They will go to them and will tell them that if you support us, we'll increase the reservation limit for you. Okay, and what has happened for entire nation? Now demand for caste census are being brought. So basically, they say that now again there is an attempt to bring the caste angle for 2024 general elections, and has happened. So in last 10 years, religious identity has been given so much of impetus. Now caste identity is being brought for 2024 election. Is it clear or not? So therefore, again, Mandal, basically again, a revival of Mandal is going to happen in India. Now, what is revival of Mandal? Mandalization of politics means politics of backwardness. The name comes from the Mandal Commission, which was the backward commission constituted in 1979. And after, now what happened? Mandal Commission for the first time recommended 27% reservation. Okay, so basically it is being said that now if we talk about the data also, if we talk about the data also, according to Pew Research survey, according to Pew Research survey, 75 million people they have slipped in poverty during COVID pandemic, and a large number of people out of this 75 million, they are actually composed of OBCs, Dalits, and Muslims. OBCs, Dalits, and Muslims. Okay, so to an extent, religion, caste, bringing them, okay, is justified on this particular thing also. So this is guys all about it. Not much important than that. Just please, you can see this particular note and no, not need to go beyond this. That is about it. Moving to next article. Supreme Court flags need for a dependable code of police investigation. Dependable code of police investigation. Now, this article, guys, just will see with respect to the GS paper number 2, criminal justice system reforms. Criminal justice system reforms in which police will come. Now, see. So, but basically, what happens according to Supreme Court, many number of a times, people who see this particular thing. Let's say there is a crime that got committed. Let's say there was a murder that happened. There was a murder that happened. Okay, and in that particular murder, in that particular murder, evidence and a lot of things suggest that Mr. X has committed murder. But what will happen? Mr. X will put some technical ground on, and that particular technical ground, that particular investigation will not go forward. And ultimately, Mr. X will be released. Mr. X will be released from the jail. So what happened? What happened? Supreme Court has identified this particular thing that many number of a time, because a dependable investigation is not carried by police, proper investigation is not carried by police, there are some lapses that are there in the police investigation, and because of that, guilty people they get acquitted on technical ground. They get acquitted on technical ground. For example, for example, from a crime scene, fingerprint are collected. From a crime scene, fingerprint are collected, and that fingerprint was not stored according to the standard operating procedure. If it was not stored, what will happen? The person will say that it had got tempered, and a benefit of doubt has to be given. Benefit of doubt has to be given. So on technical grounds, guilty people they get acquitted. Okay, and what happened? Malimat committee, Malimat committee, which came in 2003. Malimat committee was for the reforms of the criminal justice system. It also emphasized on this particular thing. So Supreme Court had said that investigation needs to be responsible, and during investigation, police needs to ensure that they are not leaving such technicalities, fine, which will be used later. So that is all about it. And now moving to next article. Prey-based habitat dictate Asiatic wild dog tiger coexistence study. Now, guys, no need to go too much in detail. This article is just talking about that tiger and wild dog. Tiger and wild dog, that is dhol. Dhol. Dhol is also called as Asiatic wild dog. Dhol is also called as Asiatic wild dog. Okay. So basically, wild dog, it happens to be a carnivorous creature. Tiger also are the carnivorous creature, and prey on which this dog thrives, and on prey which tiger thrives. So prey base area where that particular prey is available, that coexists with each other, that overlaps on each other, that overlaps on each other, and that particular thing is actually supporting both of these particular populations. So what actually happened recently? Recently, there was on this particular thing, a study was conducted by Urjit Bhatt and Salvador Lindo. Okay, and they have carried this study and came out with this particular conclusion. Okay, just that's it. Okay, beyond that, guys, nothing much relevant is given in this particular article. So no need to go too much in detail. My point is that the moment you will see something like this, you are going to spend hours and hours of this and making notes, but nothing much important has that been given. Just it has been said that the coexistence of prey base, overlap of prey base is helpful to both of them. Just that study has come out of this. Is it clear or not? I hope, guys, that you have understood this particular thing. Now, however, when we talk about the whole, one point you can note down from this particular article, that global population of these dholes they have reduced. Because of that, IUCN, okay, IUCN in red list, fine. have classified them as endangered. IUCN has classified them as endangered. So this is their status. Okay, that is all guys about it. And now main practice question for today. So question is, what are glacier lake outburst floods? How do infrastructure projects like dam affect the fragile ecosystem of Himalayas? So GS paper number 3, 10 marker question. Okay, that is about it. So with this, we come to an end to this particular session. So that is all guys about it. And guys, if you have uh, liked the video, please, if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. And also, please spread this initiative to your friends also. So that is all guys about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's news session. Thank you so much.